And welcome back, travelers of the internet, to Brighthelm Recording. This is your host, Master Barco, playing The Pillars of Eternity 2. And man, it's been a fat New York minute. We need to go to Kazuwari in the western Deadfire Sea. Let's see where that is. Where's Kazuwari? Kazuwari. Approach via a waterfall on the island's south shore. Okay, island is due west of Hasango. That narrows it a little bit. Oh, the sea seems fair, but something shifts on the horizon. We got troublemakers. The Deadfire Sea. The Deadfire Sea is calm, and the Defiant cuts smoothly across its surfaces. Gulls trailing in the craft's wake. At the wheel, Beodol whistles quietly to himself. Benizi and Ora the Mad stand near the starboard rail, quietly discussing the safest course to your destination. Man, I don't even know where my destination is. The Defiant creaks as it crosses the waves. Just enjoy the fine weather, I guess. The breeze tugs at your clothes as the salt-laced air shifts. A long gray line stretches across the horizon. It seems to shimmer like the air on a hot day. Benizi's nose wrinkles as the sailor stares into the distance. No storm that! Too low and growing fast. Seraphin's ears flatten against the sides of his head. Flocking fuck cap. Wherever that mother be, she be moving with a quickness. Best be bringing her about while you've her to bring. A quiet rumble rolls across the sea as the line grows a massive swell of water, barreling towards the Defiant. Okay, what is this? Helmsman. Okay. Yeah, I think this is all going to be relying on the helmsman, really. Bring us about! I think we're big enough to go straight over that wave. Beodol points the bowsprit directly into the wave. The deck rises before you, water rushing past to either side as the ship ascends. You experience a moment of weightlessness before the Defiant pitches forward and plunges down the far side of the wave. The helmsman howls, though you're not sure whether in excitement or terror. Probably a bit of both. The swell moves past, leaving the sea heaving in its wake. As the Defiant steadies, you'll regain your feet. Take stock of the damage. Beodol clings to the wheel like it might try to fly away. What in the good God's name was that? Ora the Mad frowns out across the calming sea. Came from the southeastern Deadfire, Captain. Antikawara, if I had to guess. Oh, the Black Isles? Maybe there's an eruption or a quake or something. The Defiant sails on. So there's more problems now? Coming from where? The Black Isles? Wasn't this the Black Isles? It looks like a Black Isles to me. So where is that
You find yourself in cold, suffocating darkness. There is a familiar weight in your hand. A lantern. It sputters to life, and the world shifts into focus. A staircase spirals endlessly below you. With nowhere else to go, you start down. A wave of blistering heat hits you. Then a sea salt wind. Divine voices boom and screech. Their words shake the platform beneath you, shake the very air around you. The gods are fighting.
Lay your blame elsewhere, Wodika. I won't suffer your arguments any longer.
Mogren looms large before you, an accusing finger leveled at the melted visage of Wodika. Wodika screws her mouth into a sneer.
You fool! If only we had attacked him when I first proposed it.
Accusations drip bitter as bile from her tongue.
Aethys could be destroying the wheel right now, and you're arguing?
You would dare interrupt me?
Wotica extends a hand, looking for a moment like she intends to swat you from the platform. But the pallid knight gives her a long, impassive look, and at last, she jerks her hand away. The pallid knight looks down at you, a frown etched deep in her otherwise statue-still features.
I am afraid we are not at our best.
So it would seem.
The Watcher's returned. Perhaps we should hear what he has to say.
Helia's birds chatter anxiously among themselves. Wal's many eyes alight on each god in turn.
We make little enough progress on our own.
Progress? Are you planning something new?
We try, but agreement eludes us.
Andra's storm-dark eyes swivel to meet yours.
Is there nothing we can do?
Magrin glances at the pallid knight from the corner of her eye. After a thoughtful pause, she speaks.
The time has come for us to seize the power we have long left untouched and absorb our scattered children.
That doesn't sound great.
Andra nods, her lure bobbing bright.
Terrible though it would be, perhaps you are right.
Didn't Margaret mention this once before?
I did, and I was scolded like a child for my terrible audacity.
A curl of steam rises from her nose. The pallid knight looks on, impassive.
Should we be killed, we may possess the bodies of our godlike children. Or should we face a force too powerful to stand against, we can absorb their souls, granting us additional strength.
And kill people, like Pallegina and Takehu.
Helia's wayward daughter and Andra's precious son, yes, they would die. Them and thousands of others.
The pallid knight speaks with the chilly temperance, possessed only by the god of death.
That's pretty bad.
They are our children. They belong to us. It is their birthright and their destiny.
Spoken like a dumb parent.
But the time for that plan has long passed us by.
Are we to keep nothing for ourselves? Not a single secret retained? Not a solitary mystery?
Magrin elbows one of Wal's floating eyes away.
Aethys will lay bare our every secret soon enough. What is one or two revealed now? But we get ahead of ourselves. First, the Watcher must get to Ukaizo, and that will be a trial all its own.
Right, because I haven't had one of those lately.
Magrin smiles.
And more are yet to come.
The Guardian of Ukaizo has stood watch over that place for millennia. It will not stand aside, not even for Bareth's herald.
Excuse me, the Guardian of Ukaizo?
Helia, who had been lost in quiet, anxious conversation with her birds, breaks in.
It yet lives.
Of course, our progenitors crafted it.
A pair of Helia's finches come to join Wal's floating eye. They hover just out of Magrin's reach and swoop in to poke her when she's not looking.
Well, that's quite... I don't know, it could be a pretty epic, like, Godzilla, Titan fight.
And the Watcher will be forced to reckon with it if he wishes to confront Aethys.
The birds at last linger too long, and Magrin slaps them away. They burst into a cloud of essence, then reform, and fly in a screeching chorus back to Helia.
Guardian of Ukaizo, I'll repeat myself.
A creature crafted by the Ingwithans to protect the machinery of reincarnation. It doesn't care much for visitors.
Mm-hmm.
Will you divulge our every secret to the kith, Magrin?
Magrin shrugs.
If it suits me.
Go prepared, Watcher. The Guardian will not stand aside, not even for the Herald of Bareth.
So, would it stand aside for Aethys, because he is Ingwithan?
It is not one of Galawain's mindless beasts. It has a heart and a mind, and it will throw neither away to oppose Aethys. And Aethys will not fight the creature, It would prove little more than a distraction for him, especially as my tsunami and Mogren's volcano couldn't stop him.
There is another topic we have yet to address.
The Pallid Knight holds up one gauntleted hand, and the other gods fall silent.
Tell me, Watcher, where do you stand?
Right here where I'm standing currently.
What do you think of Aothis' scheme to destroy the wheel?
I honestly still don't understand what this all means. What will happen when Aothis destroys the wheel? Isn't that what's going to fuel Aora? But the Inquithans, I don't know.
The Pallid Knight spreads wide her hands.
Think of the beyond as a reservoir, the in-between as storm clouds, and souls as rain. When a living thing dies, its soul enters the in-between. And when the in-between grows full, it releases souls into the beyond, where they wait to be redistributed to new bodies, new lives. The wheel is the process by which souls are moved from the in-between to the beyond, from the rain cloud to the reservoir, and from the reservoir into the living world.
So it could just flood the world with a bunch of new life and severely overpopulate everything or kill everything.
Without the wheel to mediate the transfer and redistribution of souls, the souls of all who die remain in the in-between. And without souls to fill it, the beyond gradually empties, trapping all of the remaining souls in existence in the in-between.
Those poor guys.
When the beyond is empty and the last creature on Aora dies, that is the end of everything. It is Rimergon's future, the one he wants for us.
Entropy. A bunch of nothingness. I mean, that's kind of what I figured, but I also feel like you might be lying to me, because, that's what Inquithans like to do sometimes. But how does that affect the gods, specifically? I guess with no one to perceive you as gods, you have no power.
Soul essence sustains us. We feed off it, off the little fragments you mortal kith shed like snakeskin as you pass into your next life. Without sustenance, we starve as any mortal might. We die and leave a great silence behind, an eternal emptiness from which nothing is born.
I prefer to think of it as a very long vacation.
I am certain Rimergon would appreciate your company.
Tell us, Watcher, where do you stand?
This doesn't feel like the act of a caring god to me. Like, why would Aothis want to... I feel like... Doesn't feel like the act of a caring god to me.
And so many will suffer needlessly for it.
That's right. He thinks he's freeing us because the Inquithans built the wheel.
Kith will have a few generations at most before the beyond is vacant of souls, and adaptability is your greatest strength.
That's right.
Aothis believes you will succeed. An uncaring god would not have that faith.
The Pallid Knight knits her fingers together and regards you.
Okay.
You would take his side? He destroys your wheel!
The Pallid Knight turns unblinking eyes on Wodaka.
Put aside your childish notion of sides and open your eyes. You are made blind by your rage.
She really is. Justice only sees black and white, apparently.
Aothis loves the mortals more than any of us. He has always been their greatest champion. He believes Kith will rise to his challenge. I am not so sure, but I look forward to watching them try.
How did Aothis fool you all? You're the most powerful beings in Aora.
He found our blind spot and exploited it admirably. By the time we even had a hint of what it was he intended, it was already too late to stop him.
If we still had our bodies, we could oppose him.
Wodaka balls her bony hands into fists and glares long at Andra.
Do not lay your blame on me. We set them aside after I killed Abaddon, it is true, but you did not fight the decision then.
She turns her back on Wodaka then, and looks instead to the pallid night.
What if Aethys is right, and Kith succeed in rebuilding the wheel? What then?
I don't know, but aren't you curious to find out?
Wal grins.
Always, Watcher.
And what if they fail? Then they die. And so do we. We have to help them.
Helia's voice rises, near to panic. Worika drives her fist into her hand.
Help them. We should finally bring them to heel.
I don't understand how anyone could worship Worika.
The pallid knight raises a hand and stares at Worika until she falls silent.
Watcher, Aethys yet values your counsel.
The pallid knight's eyes bore into yours.
An impassioned plea from the Hound of Aethys may still temper his actions. Confront him at Ukaizo.
I'll try.
The future of Kith and the gods rests on your shoulders, Watcher, so I hope that you do.
The pallid knight's stern countenance softens.
Time moves swiftly away from us now.
The pallid knight spreads her hands before her.
Go, Watcher. Do what you must.
The edges of your vision begin to dim. Like a sun setting, twilight encroaches on your mind. The pallid knight conjures a blinding white light in her palm that swiftly grows to engulf the room. Then, the crack of thunder rends the air, and you feel the floor drop out beneath you. You come to flat on your back, staring at an all too familiar ceiling. Alone, once again.
Alright, now that all that nonsense has been dealt with, let me look around for Kazuwari. For this specifically, right there.
It's a fine three-master, thin like a bird. Heave-ho, Presidente. Oh, Captain Parfitos never will haul away.
The sea billows beneath your vessel.
Gaffin held the inwards crown.
We're getting all kinds of encounters, aren't we? You stumble to the side, grabbing the rail to keep from falling as the defiant rocks hard to port. Did we just hit something? Aima returns to her feet, examining her fingers and wincing. God's alive, Beadle! What in Andre's holy name do you think you're doing up there? It wasn't my fault, you sodden bilge rat. Beadle spits back. The helmsman turns to you. Felt like something went under the ship, Captain. Chichibek gestures wildly to starboard. Captain! The hand stumbles back from the deck. Either I need to be giving up the drink for good, or there's a goddamn colossal monster down there. What? Beneath the surface of the water, you make out a long, sinuous form. No mere fish, the creature swims with two pairs of legs and a long, thin tail. Your lungs feel suddenly empty, and you gasp as your stomach turns. Does it want a piece of me? I guess the boat? It falls sideways into light.
The light fades into dim. You stand in a forest glade hung thick with shadows. Tall trees surround you. The shriek of a deer pierces the air before being abruptly silenced. From out of the dark lope a Stelgar and a wolf, followed by a thickly muscled man draped in furs.
Galawain.
Galawain.
Yep. Called it.
Herald of Bereth, this place is not for you. Leave.
All done? A smell like rancid blood and days-old sweat wafts off him in a wave.
I will warn you only once. If you tread upon my island, it will consume you.
The large beasts at his side step forward in unison, their tails angrily swishing in the air. Why don't you want me to come here?
I have seen what you do to creatures who will not submit to you. I do not want the same for the residents of this island.
So, creatures I typically would, kill, but, if they do submit to me, they're great pets, Look at Tonk, his whole family, they're my friends. And like people, they're usually a bit more reasonable. Like I can use words and communicate to them, and I usually don't have to kill all of them. You're going to have to be a bit more specific about what I do to creatures.
Do you deny slaughtering Archdruid Restin and the Ethic Null at Bareth's behest?
Weren't they prolonging their lives? Like, they kind of deserved it.
The blood of the weak feeds the strong. Such is the way of the world.
You're quite quiet. You can speak up a bit.
The space between fair competition and senseless brutality is a chasm for most. But for you, it is a hair's breadth. I would not see you enact the same crimes here.
So you kind of contradict yourself. If they fell by my hand, it was because I was stronger than they, though.
You think yourself clever, but you killed them for sport, not for sustenance. Your like are not welcome here.
So I have an invitation, and I was told there's a problem here only a watcher can solve.
You seem to overestimate your importance.
I was told to seek the favor of Towamohai. Is that you?
In a manner of speaking. Its nature complements my own. So I have occasionally acted in its name when the Kith here needed a familiar face to lead their pack.
So what was that thing that just swam past my boat?
A glorious beast, and one of the many creatures here that will challenge you, should you refuse to leave.
The lolling tongue of Galawain Stelgaer companion drips saliva into the dirt. Its long teeth shine even in the low light. So you're not, and you are responsible for the head I received? If you're like leading a pack, so to say?
I am not, though Muatu is mine, and I will claim him in time.
What do you mean you will claim him in time? His head's right here, bub. Come and take it. I don't take orders from you.
Consider it a strongly worded suggestion with consequences attached. I do not care to explain to Bareth why their favored watcher was torn to ribbons by my beasts.
After all the trials I've overcome, you think your threats will frighten me? Like, I've killed, 6 dragons now? Like, come on, bruh.
I am not Rimmergand. I do not delight in Kith's fears, only in their strength and cunning, nor is my aim to frighten you. Think of this as my due diligence, then, done on Bareth's behalf.
You're a real bastard. All of you are.
We may have been created by Kith, but our power is no less real for our origins. Legitimate or no, we are gods still.
Well, what does that even mean? Legitimate gods. Like, gods are just gods, right?
While you rail against us for our callousness, our supposed cruelty, you fail to understand a simple truth.
His voice drops low then. It seems to come from all around you, in the creaking of tree limbs, the hum of insects.
We are you. We are made in your image. What you detest in us, you detest in yourself. I have warned you. May aught that follows be on your head.
With a sound like a thunderclap and a bright burst like lightning, the forest disappears, and you are thrust back into your body. You blink against the fading flash. When you can see again, you find your hands bloodless and aching, gripping the railing of your ship.
Your eyes trace the giant lizard's path towards the nearby island. It seems to be swimming north, away from the waterfall. You lose sight of the beast as it plunges into the depths. Watu's voice seems a mere whisper after the power of a god's. I felt such rage from that beast. Hunger too. Beneath all of it, I think, fear. Seems Galawain's pretty unhappy. With more than just my presence here. I don't know what the natives did, but the Lord of the Hunt sent that beast. Watu's words rise in pitch and volume. Everyone on Kazuwari could be in danger. You have to help them, please, Watcher. His voice echoes at the edge of your perception as your focus returns to the deck of the Defiant. The crew, eyes wide, stare at you. Looks like a big trophy to me. Let's go hunting, boys. Aima chuckles and think of meat on a beast that size. There makes a grunt of displeasure. Yeah. The Defiant rocks gently. The large landmass beckons. Okay. Yeah. There we go. So, is there any specific place we want to get to? I don't know. Maybe that is where the guy's at. Let's go through this pass. An unusual structure rises from the thick jungle foliage ahead of you. Vines drape it like decor, and it takes you a moment to resolve its form into the spine and ribs of some titanic beast. Its skull faces you upside down, jaws wide open and gaping. Sharp teeth hang above like the waiting edge of the headsman's axe. I wonder what kind it is, you know? What is this skeleton, eh? A variety of large quadrupedal lizards exist across Aor, and judging from its skull and claws, this seems to be one. The shape of its ribcage suggests an aquatic or amphibious existence. Such creatures can be very aggressive. Well, this is just a skeleton, really. Just approach it. As you near the skeleton, you make out a number of rough pieces of decoration hanging from the old skeleton, crafted from wood and bone. They hang inside of the mouth and ribs. Among the other desiccated sacrifices within the mouth, you find the remains of a human corpse. Well, let's take a good look at that scene, eh? The hooved prints of numerous boars across the space, overlapping with those of kith of various sizes. Okay. What does any of that mean? So, like, boars killed the guy, I guess? So what's up with those decorations, though? At first, the rough-hewn simplicity of the ornaments reminds you of wilder totems, but fine etchings in some of the bones seem indicative of the Juana. You discover several effigies that appear to be boar-headed kith. Boar-headed kith. Is the corpse a sacrifice to Galawain's beast here? The human this skeleton once was, his arms twisted at his sides, his legs broken, clearly died in pain. Deep gouges along the sternum and cracks in the rib cage reveal multiple stabbings to the chest, likely the cause of death. That, combined with the raised position of the corpse on thick stones and its prominence in the center of the large skeletal mouth, suggests that this individual died as a sacrifice. I don't see any reason to sneak. Other than there might be traps. Oh dear. That wasn't really good at sneaky. You tread carefully, moving silently through the thick jungle foliage. You hear a low swear and you whip around to see Jyoti wincing, an arm caught tight by a thorn-covered vine. The patter of hooved feet stirs the thick air. To either side of you, high-draped kith approach, flanked by bristling boars. Great.
Don't move.
Scars of battle and decoration stripe the large man's thick arms. Do you have tusks in you? That's pretty cool, sir.
Return to your little boat, interloper. You do not belong on Kazuwari.
You can't just go and call my boat little, sir. Like, that's pretty rude. His companions, each equally well-armed and scarred, stand at ease beside their boar companions, eyes trained on you.
Hold off, Hateno!
She throws a furred arm out to stop the druid's advances.
You from the valleys? The living lands? Might have seen you shipping out of port a few years back.
Her slit-pupiled eyes narrow. I am from the living lands, yes.
Knew it! Can't never forget a face, you know?
I don't know you.
Still, it's funny to find another from the valleys out here. Kazuwari attracts all kinds.
Shut your gaping trap, Shabale. Turn back now and count yourself lucky you aren't already dead.
I believe we may have a common friend here. Can I just pull out the head?
Doubtful.
He spits the words out as one would a particularly foul curse. Oh yes, the wise teeth necklace I received from that one druid. 20 plus episodes ago. The man frowns, then pulls a leather-wrapped pouch from within his belongings. Hands shaking, he hands it to you. A wise teeth necklace. Ooh, intellect, history. He gave me this. Do you recognize it?
Good for you. He's a hard old bastard to please.
So let's talk about this. There's no reason for this to get bloody, right?
No.
Tedo hefts his blade and grins. The spirit of Mwatu manifests beside you in a flash of light. His sudden appearance doesn't seem to register with the scarred Amawa and his crew.
Why did we stop? We ran into locals, didn't we?
Can you see them?
I doubt they'll listen to reason. Best to kill them and be done with it.
What? Why should I kill them? I'm no stranger to the wild's threats. In fact, I seek them out.
He does look like he can handle himself. What say, Hateno?
Shibale casts a questioning look toward her partner.
This one's resourceful. That much is clear. But their worth, that I'll leave for Tuamawai to judge.
Tuamawai. That's how you say it. Remember hearing it once, and then never again.
Pass then, but watch your back.
Hateno, Shibale, and the rest of the crew fade into the brush with little more than a rustle of leaves. Shibale's boar lingers a moment, its beady eyes trained on you, before it, too, disappears into the forest. That boar is going to be a recurring character, I guess. Going to eyeball me at every opportunity he gets. Well then. This is just a random location pass. Alright. Continue on, I guess. Onto the Huaba Maha depths, or go over here and get some stuff over there. Water. So we could go to this rise or the depths. I feel like either way will work, maybe? I hope. Let's head to the rise. Hiwahuriki rise. Sorry, any Amawa who may be offended by the way I speak. The jungle opens up and a steep hill rises before you. The contesting songs of birds and insects fill the air. A faint suggestion of a path winds through the tall grass towards a shadowed structure above. A large round stone, its face covered in whirling etchings, rests in the grass. A hole exists through the center of the otherwise solid slab, rendering it a ring. The hazy form of Mwatu shimmers at the edge of your sight. Oh, a proving stone. You'll find an entrance to the crucible at the top of the hill. The stone will unlock the way. You'll have to carry it up the hill, though. That's why it's called the proving stone, because it's really heavy. And there's a hill. And, well, the spirit grins and shakes his spectral head. If you can manage to get it to the top of the hill, you'll be entitled to undertake the rite of passage. That sounds like something I need to do to please the eyes and the trees. Adair shades his eyes as he chews a piece of grass. Looks like fun. Looks like fun. After you, Roland. Pushing the stone up the hill does not seem like it will be a pleasant task. Shh. Step back, everyone. Let the Tallstag handle this one. Digging your feet into the earth, you begin to slowly roll the heavy rock up the hill. You don't follow the path, winding as it is, cutting a straight line through the grass. Your muscles ache, your hands burn, sweat slickens your face and drops from the tip of your nose. But you push harder, and with your incredible strength, you manage to crest the hill preceded by the stone. As you catch your breath, the remainder of your party joins you. You step into the shade of a small, ruined plaza, its stone floor worn with age and cracked by the roots of the trees that border the space. Carpets of moss creep from the cracks, spreading along the exposed dirt like blood seeping from a wound. Ancient stone columns, each covered in runes so thoroughly faded as to be illegible, demarcate the edges of the plaza. Some have tumbled, others lean against nearby trees, and all have been claimed by vines. Before you rises a massive stone door. Before it, a slightly raised pedestal. Okay, so clearly that's where the ring goes, right? But we'll examine it, right? Here's a smart fella right here. Roughly a meter tall, the pedestal is a little larger round than a particularly healthy melon. In both material and construction, the plinth reminds you of the proving stone. It even bears similar markings. A small gap exists around the base of the pedestal, as if it extends deeper below the surface of the plaza. So the heavy rock will push it down. So there's no reason for me to push it down. Examine the door, Joti. Tell me what its quantum markings are. The door seems set into the stone itself, and you can find no mechanism for opening it. Examining the fine details carved into the door reveals reliefs depicting the hideous, snarling faces of 3 animals: the spider, the boar, and the dreaded Stelgare, the ferocious saber-toothed cat. These creatures are all considered sacred to Tuamohai and the Huana god of the hunt. Well, we got the rock up here. Just put the rock on the pedestal. No reason to strain myself further. You heave the rock onto the pedestal, and the former slides perfectly into the hole in the center of the latter. With a sound like the fall of a great tree, the pillar slowly slides into the ground, lowering the proving stone with it. Man, what if you, missed the hole, though? That little bit of rock could have just snapped his little wiener off. As the stone sinks, the great stone door sinks with it, disappearing into the ground. The open archway reveals a tunnel leading into what appears to be a well-lit bazaar, replete with small stands with cloth awnings and small pennants draping from long hempen lines. The scent of cooked meats and jovial din of conversation invites you in. As you enter, you overhear a distant cheer. Everyone's cheering for me. Sweet. A constant low hum of conversation melds with the distant purr of cascading water. The warm scents of spices and cooked meats almost mask the stench of body odor. Almost. Several pairs of eyes watch you.
Welcome to the Temple of Tuamawai, Watcher. Home sweet home.
Smell that? Smells real inviting.
Meat and body odor. Mmm.
I've never seen the proving entrance open before. Who are you?
Sporting leather armor festooned with bright feathers, the woman holds herself like an experienced warrior, a veteran, based on her limp. I'm Roland Tallstag, Watcher of Kadua.
That's his fortress back in the Deerwood, where we're from. It's in great shape, real imposing.
The deer gives a firm nod, and I'll nod back at that.
A watcher?
She swallows and looks to the door, then back at you.
I suppose that explains things. A bit. But why are you here?
So, a dead man told me to use a big rock to open the door.
A dead man? A spirit, you mean?
She taps her chin.
The stories say the souls of this place once called to potential contenders, but I've never heard of anyone speaking to an actual ghost about it.
Don't laugh at me.
Those who arrived at Kazuwari uninvited were considered soul-summoned.
I think I've been soul-summoned then.
Each had to prove their worth by dragging the stone to the top of the rise, hence the name. It would ensure that those who came to the arena were worthy of the honor.
Well, I think I'm worthy.
Things change, though. The contest has changed.
Sounds... What does this contest entail?
It's complicated. Suffice it to say, we do battle with one another to prove ourselves to the faces of the hunt. You should speak with Humaire. If you've got questions, she's the one to tell you more.
Okay. So everyone here is a contestant?
Not everyone. Many merely spectate. Others run shops or see to the site's safety, as I do.
Where can I find Humaire?
Up top. She should be watching a match in the arena.
She gestures through the nearby door. A large set of stairs rise along the northern edge of the large, shadowy chamber beyond. Well, I do thank you for your help.
Of course.
She bows her head to you. And that'd probably be a good stopping point here, you know? We made our way in. It's a bit of a challenging entrance, but you know what? I'm always open for a little bit of a challenge, and it's not like it strained us too much. We can do some fighting after this. This is Master Parker from Brian Recording, signing off. Arf, arf, arf. I'm Galawain's dog, and I've come here to tell you to like and subscribe to this video and channel and whatnot. And you should comment down below that I am such a good boy. Arf, arf, arf. I'm gonna go back to Galawain now. Bye!